Greetings and welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of Poly Weekly News for the 12th of September. Take a look. I got some new pop culture items back there. I got Top Gun Maverick and She-Hulk, and I've had to make some other changes around here. So, yes, my background has changed for those of you that are observant. And I'm being joined by my colleague, Osman, whose last name I've butchered at least 12 times on Poly Weekly News broadcast so far. Osman, introduce yourself. Say your name correctly. Tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Thank you, David. It's nice to be here. My name is Osman, and surname is Bıçakçı in the correct pronunciation. But it is always difficult for the native English speaker to, spell my surname. So I work as a product team in Poly, and specifically in Canada, and I am the product manager for Poly Edge B and E series IP phones.
And the Edge E series phones are the ones we introduced on this show just a few weeks
Yeah,
ago.
as you can see from the back.
Oh,
Yeah,
I can't wait! I want to look around and see what they're all about. But before we do that, how long have you been with Poly?
So I have been in Poly around 10 years, longer than 10 years. And during that time, I worked in the, pre-sales, solution architect team, and also, moved to product team later. So it has been quite some time with the Poly, and now it's, a different journey for us.
And tell us what your role was in helping develop these phones.
So yeah, definitely. I am the product manager for development of the new IP phones. When we started to work on the AG series, everything was, we sit together with our sales team, services team, customers and partner and discuss about what is the next generation IP phone experience, desk phone experience should be. And this is, sounds very easy, very, somebody call it very boring and, straightforward kind of thing, but it is not. The desk phones are on the desk for some good time, and this industry is really deserves an update and refresh and the best experience we can deliver to end users. So we gathered these feedbacks from the, all these groups and sit together with our product team and engineers and think about that, how we can address these new requirements of the new world, right? New office environments, new requirements on the protection levels, new requirements on the hybrid working. There's more mobility. We all try to answer all these questions and work around, I think, 2.5 years with the all great engineering team we have to address and give the best experiences possible.
Yeah, and I'm not shy about telling everybody this. I'm in my fourth decade of my career, trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up, and people have been talking about the death of the desk phone for all 4 decades. They've been talking about how headsets and soft phones will take their place, and there's certainly quite a bit of soft phones and people using a lot of mobile phones and mobile technology and headsets, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you know what? When I need to make a phone call, I reach over and I grab my Poly desk phone. I like the hold. I like being able to dial. When I'm visiting an office or using a hoteling cube, my expectation is that there's going to be some handset there that I'm going to be able to use. I don't think that office phones are going to be dying at any point in the future. Is that the feedback that you were getting when you did the checks in the industry as well?
Definitely. There's certain trends, and one of the trends is definitely, for years and years, development of the voice over IP is created, a person that people are thinking that the phones are dying, there will be no force anymore, etc. And this is something, I hear all the time. This is something, my managers and the GMs, John Lamarck is here for a long time, right? So, but it never happens. And the interesting thing is the transition from the PBXs, traditional IP telephony systems sitting on the servers of the data centers of the companies, the peoples are now moving to cloud, and the cloud telephony requires a new set of experiences, new set of devices that support that, transition. And this is really a perfect opportunity for Poly and Poly partners and the customers as well to deliver the, what is the best we can do for their end users. So we see that kind of trend. Reliability is really key points. Users want to go in the office, find a phone that is working always, all the time, without any surprises, without any updated, you can see on the morning, when you need to join a call. So I think the high quality audio is another perspective because yes, Poly is doing great headsets. We are one of the best in the world. But the handset of the desk phones is creating a different experience because this is tailored specifically for audio communication, and we are fine-tuning and making the adjustments and everything. And maybe you noticed that one of the key features I will tell about this AG series is we added the noise block AI technology. maybe familiar with the poly is know that technology, but it is making the background noise and everything is away in your communication, and it is clearly getting the talker's sound to the other hand, which is I think is really powerful user feature, and we added that experience into the AG series together with the acoustic fans. I think all these kind of specific features and functionalities is making the desk phones is still a valid choice for the majority of users. There will be definitely user segments that using on the mobile and using headset because they don't have an office, they're all on the road all the way. Then yeah, definitely. But we see that the majority of users are still using desk phones, and still we are getting the several orders in for AG series. Let me tell that one. AG series has been announced mid-August. And since that date, we are receiving a historical number of orders in for AG series. And I can clearly say this is one of the highest selling desk phone family in Poland in that quick time. And we are start to deliver these phones to the customers, which is really amazing thing in the current supply chain constraints and everything. So we see great interest from our partners, community, and our alliance partners as well.
Okay, so slow down a second. You said probably about 3,000 things there, and very quickly. And I don't want anybody to lose any of the bits of that. So I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm ignorant about how some of these phones are. I haven't had my hands on them yet, and you've got them behind you. So in a little bit you'll show them to us. But I just want to make sure I understand it. So first of all, you were talking about noise block AI. Noise block is a technology that Poly has had for years, but it was a gate. Whenever it heard noise, the gate closed. Whenever somebody started speaking, the gate opened up, and then the noise came through with the person that's speaking. Noise block AI isn't a gate, it's a filter. It's smart enough to know that the voice needs to come through while the typing or the crinkling or the other noise should be blocked and stopped, which is awesome, and it's amazing. And I use a phrase when I describe that called better than being there. If I'm in the room with you, I'm forced. I have to hear the siren and the dog barking and the typing and all the rest of that. But if I'm on the
Definitely.
other end of the call, I'm getting a better than in that room experience because all the extraneous stuff is being filtered out. And those are built into all of the models of these phones, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, perfect address.
Okay, so that's the first big deal with Edgy, which is great. Now again, I want you to correct me because I don't know if I'm correct here or not. My understanding is these phones were designed with the current environment in mind. So while there have been supply chain issues over the years for multiple companies, and there are issues with getting certain chips and things, we designed these phones with parts and supplies that are readily available, so we're able to build them relatively quickly and ship them relatively quickly. Is that correct?
Definitely correct. And being on the product on these times is more than difficult you can imagine. So all the time during all these developments, we are getting the news, which all the time is not the great news from our components, suppliers, etc. And we need to make all these adjustments on the fly. And our strategy developed in our business unit is looking for the most available parts and use them if they're compliant with all our requirements and everything. So this is a strategy we did, and we are really seeing the fruits of this strategy in all over the portfolio.
Okay, and then the other thing that you said that I want to clarify because I didn't even know this, I didn't know when the sale date was for these phones when they're available. You're saying they're on sale, they're available now.
Yes, they are available, they're orderable since mid-August. The day we announced, we also enabled orderability, and we start shipping immediately. So we are already shipping these phones to our distribution partners and our already certified alliance partners is start to sell the phones even.
Okay, so while some of our competitors have what they described as historic perfect storm of issues with parts, we have these things available and we're shipping them now and they're ready. And
Yeah,
the other
I'm
thing,
crossing fingers, but yeah, this is supply chain is always something is still fragile, but we are doing our best to keep the supply levels as much as possible, as much as good.
great. And the other thing that I honestly don't know the answer to, so and I don't want to be unfair, so again, you have to correct me. Most poly phones are compatible with multiple platforms and users and certified for various platforms. I think is my understanding is the certification process for these phones and the systems they'll be on, the platforms they'll be on, is still underway. So I don't want to, I don't know what they've been certified on and what platforms have adopted them yet. I know some have, and there are still some going. But that's a correct statement, isn't it? That the certification process for these things to be working with various platforms is something that's underway. And as soon as they're and they work today, but as soon as they're officially certified by the platforms, that's when we'll have those announcements.
Definitely correct. Let me open that a little bit more. We had two type of fast phone, offering from Poly. One of them is OpenSIP, we call it. It is a standard which is running with the several platforms. It is called OpenSIP. And other side
OpenSIP.
is, yeah, it is OpenSIP. And other side is, appliance mode, which is, we have two partners currently running on the appliance side, Zoom and the Teams, which is the CCX phone line, which can run their applications developed by Zoom and the Teams. So in the OpenSIP environment, we have the VVX family, which is currently, still available, still in the market, which is not going anywhere, is the VVX line. And AG series is, coming maybe, on top of the VVX line, which is kind of more premium offering, which more flexibility and more advanced experiences. It is coming from the OpenSIP. And OpenSIP platform, yes, you are correct, is used by the different platforms. It is working, but you need to get certified and approved by the either alliance partners or the service providers to sell and use in their platforms. And AG is, again, one of the great signs is the product is successful, is getting the partners, is certifying as soon as possible. And even we have, currently is one of the, two partners already certified the product, and, more than tens of them is working for certifying as soon as possible. And our target is really before end of fiscal calendar year is getting the majority of our partners is certified and selling AG series.
Okay, that's great. So now I'm dying and I'm salivating, and we've talked about it enough. Why don't you walk us through the various models and tell us specifically the features that are unique to the units that you're going through, what's available today, and what's coming soon? Because I know we have some roadmap and what's GA now versus what's coming. So you'll be specific about that. But why don't you give us a show and tell?
Sure, yeah. Before moving on, David, I will show in a minute. But all I want to talk about that when we design AG series. Personally, I don't want to talk about features. I always want to talk about experiences, because the features is something is broken when the users are not using them, right? But the experience is what we want users to experience on the product. And in Poly, we always design the products thinking about the experiences. And in AG series, you can see that I will talk about the experiences like accessibility, personalization, the new kind of elements that, adding the design is a part of the experience and everything. So I will talk them about shortly, but, I want to say that these are, the current version of experiences, right? As a Poly, we always looking forward to add and more on top of these experiences. So the phones is there, but software will be developed and added the new experiences over time. Our team is already working for them. We are looking for how we can improve and more and experiences to users. So this is something I want to note before I move to demo session.
Awesome. Glad you made the point.
All right. So David, as I mentioned, I want to quickly show AG series. We are calling it series, but the reasons that, we are calling series, the phone shape is basically 4, but we have 9 flexible options for the customers to choose whatever the users need in terms of the installation, network site, or instead of, the lines and everything. So we are giving flexibility for our partners and the users to choose the versions they want to choose. So in the right-hand side, you can see that this is our initial entry-level phone. It is the E100 and E220 in the family. As you can see that, despite the traditional entry-level phone, we are using very attractive design language here. As you can see, this is, what we did in AG series. We tried to make this phone is looking beauty, striking to users at the first sight. They really want to discover the features and functionality and use these phones. This was our, kind of objective when we designed this experience.
And I see the poly pixels on the speaker there.
Yeah, it is both polypixels. You can maybe see that, it's a specific texture on the white background. We have the multi-layers and everything. And, these phones are really designed to be part of your office design. So because, we always believe that the phones sitting on the, whitish background with the, dark colors and everything is not looking very attractive.
and the office designs and interior designs are getting updated. And the phones should be part of that environment, right? Everything we use in the technology today is getting updated. So we think that the desk phone should get that fair share of the update. So these phones is coming with the 4-line keys. This is E220 models. And one lower levels of these phones is coming with the 2-line keys is the E100 model. And these phones all is coming with the IPS displays, color displays, which is, I think, very important because it improves the viewing angle of the display. You can see that it is very bright. There is reflections surely in the demo environment, but the brightness of displays is thankfully very nice because of the IPS technology we are using on the LEDs. So these phones is the first in the family is coming with the embedded Bluetooth functionality. You can see a Bluetooth icon there. So you can connect your mobile phone or you can connect your Bluetooth headset automatically with this device. And one of the experiences we really want to develop and add more, which you will hear shortly in Poly website, maybe in the following months, is how we can give the best Bluetooth experience to the users. We are still looking for adding more functionality and more experience to users, such as how they can pair and connect your Poly headset with the Poly phones that is supporting Bluetooth. Because traditionally speaking, it is always difficult when you try to connect to Bluetooth, right? You need to go into the menus, you need to find the Bluetooth. It is always the same way for the majority of vendors. You need to check, discover, and manage the devices, select, and the pair, and etc. But we want users to be not diving into menus. We want users to be easily pair these headsets with the phone. So we are looking at how we can enable that experience for our users. So this will be one of the very quick experience enablement coming from Poly. And other thing is you can see that we are giving the very visual indications. There is a LED, RGB LED bar, which is giving the notifications to the users. This is fairly important because when users are focused on working on the desktop and on something, they always want to know what is going on the desk phones, right? Maybe they are in the headset, in the video call, maybe they are doing something else, but these, notification LED is helping them to see everything on the background. So as I will just quickly demonstrate the LEDs, you can see that, it is multicolors. So you can see that, it is showing the different colors and everything. And even the mute button itself is very visible. So one of the other things, as I mentioned earlier in the AG series, is the personalization. We really want the personalization as a key element for our users and the customers. And what we do here is, traditionally, you can change the background pictures, you can do some different things. But in AG series, as you can see, these LED colors, it is programmable. So with the configuration parameters running from your server, you have the option to enable your company colors, for the idle state, or company colors, for instance, when you are muted or something else. So all this kind of states is defined and addressed in the admin guide, which is available for IT team members to change this colorization and everything.
That's amazing. It's really pretty.
Yeah, that definitely, I think, it is one of the missing elements for the years in the desk phone experience is giving the desk phones personalization to the end users. And one of the other things is, we are always using mobile phone, right? And this phone is coming with the Bluetooth. So if you have an Android phone supporting NFC, you can quickly tap your phone here on the top of the display, and the phone will be paired with the desk phone over Bluetooth. So you can use this high quality handset and the speakerphone for making audio calls over your mobile phone. This is really powerful because, again, you don't need to dive into menus. You just can tap, and your Android NFC supporting phone mobile phone will be paired with the desk phone.
So if I'm walking into the office so that I've been talking to somebody as I walk over to my desk, all I have to do is tap the NFCs, tap the Bluetooth onto the phone, and now I can continue that call from the desk phone.
So that transition is something that we want to enable in terms of experiences. So it is not day zero is directly supported because that transition requires some specific software elements. But at least when you walk into office and you need to pair with your mobile phone with the desk phone, you just need to tap the phone to the desk phone, and it will be automatically paired, and you can take your call from there.
Got it.
One of the things we also want to implement here is getting your personal directory from mobile phone, if you want, and if your company enable it, is seen from the desk phone. So you can use speed dials here, and you can have your contacts, and you can have a quick call directly from here using your mobile phone contacts, which is really another powerful thing, because all the time we don't have our contacts in the desk phones. It is on the mobile phone. It's keeping the same directory there. So we can use that directory to add more calls to this more desk phone experience. So I will quickly move another phone, but before that, I want to show the USB-C port. I want to show it because, still in 2022, we see lots of new models are coming to the market with USB-A port. So we really believe that USB-C is the future of communication and control over USB. So these phones are coming with the USB-C port for connecting your headset and mobile devices for charging. Limited capabilities. Definitely, it's not high power charging station.
That's great. That's awesome. And also, what you were talking about, just this great idea that I no longer have to go to my mobile phone and look up my contacts, and then dial it manually on the phone. I can literally just dial from the directory that I've transferred over, which is really nice for a business phone.
Yeah, this is really important key features. This is one of the key feedbacks we received from our customers, was having that kind of functionality. And again, David, as I mentioned earlier, these are all the experiences we are looking to add in the Edge series, and we are always open ears to our customers and the partners and the community, how we can enable and add more experiences like this. So another thing I want to show, that as you can see, this is a stand, and stand is removable. So you can just turn stand around, and you can see that this is a different stand angle. So we are also giving that flexibility for the users to change the stand angle. So another phone in the line is E300 series. We have 3 models in E300 series. E300 is coming with the no radio, so it means that there is no embedded Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. It is just traditional gigabit Ethernet connection only. And E320, the models you see here, is coming with the Bluetooth. So it is, again, network connection plus Bluetooth. And E350 models is coming with the embedded Wi-Fi, embedded Bluetooth, which is really powerful, because we see the trends that users are, the first thing, in the open office environment, they don't have the cabling infrastructure for every single desk. So E350 and all the wireless models in the family is enabling users to, IT teams, to install these phones using the Wi-Fi network, which is, I think, quite powerful.
So pause there for a second then. So if the phone can connect over Wi-Fi, then in theory, once we're certified on a number of additional platforms, and you have you can pre-provision the phone on the platform, bring it into the office or the home or whatever the environment is that has the Wi-Fi, log on to the Wi-Fi, and it automatically wakes up in the provisioning mode that you've put it in. Is that accurate?
That's accurate. This is one of the things, and I will exactly talk about that use case. We see the users are also using the desk phones in their hybrid, home office, whatever you call, environments they are working. And, there's a certain, kind of limitations in the open office and the working environment. You can see that, I have some cabling because this is an e-building, but most of the homes, they don't have the proper RJ45 cabling, but they have a good network, wireless network. So you can use these wireless embedded phones in this kind of environments, directly register to your corporate, whatever platform you are using, and it will be automatically connected to your, call server, which is, I think, quite powerful, and getting the continuity of the communication using the wireless phones. And it is available in starting from this E300, E400, and E500 series, which is, all these 3 models can come with the embedded Wi-Fi.
How does the 350 power, if it's not PoE, if it's Wi-Fi, does it have a separate power supply?
So all phones in the Edge family, as you can see here, is out of box, not coming with the PSU, power supply. But you can order the power supply as an accessory, and you can just connect over the power supply, and it will use the Wi-Fi as a network.
So it does work on PoE?
It works on PoE, yeah.
And then if you're going wirelessly, then you would just get the power supply and use the power supply with it.
That's correct. Yeah, you can just add the power supply as an accessory, as an optional thing from your disties or your partners.
Got it.
yeah, they can add that for the configuration
I'm
for you.
thinking of how cool it would be if we go back, to the late 1980s and 90s when I had those bag cellular phones where I'll jury rig like a battery pack for it and bring it out, to one of the at some of these companies that have Wi-Fi out on the deck, and just pull the phone out of my bag and start talking on my phone. It's actually really cool.
Yeah, thank you. So another thing is, I want to show a difference from the E100, 220 to E300 series. As you can see, the surround LED system, we call it, is coming with the all-around displays. So you can see that it is the, all-around displays, there is a notification light, which is looking very quite cool, I don't know you, but I'm really impressed with this, lightning effect on the AG 300 series, starting from 300, 400, and 500, all is coming with the surround LED system. Again, this is multicolor. So let me quickly back into menu again, because I talk a lot. I will quickly demonstrate, the options in the colors. You can see that, blue, white, green, red, all is possible, changing the colors. Again, this is configurable and we have some default states. As you can see, also the headset and speakerphone buttons is illuminated. Again, all we are trying to do in terms of designs and all this illumination is getting the experience as much as possible flawless for the end users, so they can see what the headset type or the handset type they are using, or if they need to mute, you can see the mute button is also will show up. So this is really quite powerful thing that we enabled on starting from E300 series. Another thing I want to show here is the texture. I don't know how much it is visible, but there's another texture here, is the polypixel pattern next to this side. I don't know if you can see it. And
Barely. It's showing up a little bit. We're not doing it justice, but
yeah,
but I get it.
yeah, it is a polypixel pattern. Is all around to the phone body when it is multi-surface. And you can, I don't know if it's visible on the phone, but this is multi-surface environment. Another thing is we try to create that multi-surface language. The LCD is floating. You can see that this is elevated from the surface. And this space here is also elevated. And you can see that we are using 3-color combination here, different color, and the white color, which is, I think, perfectly is aligning each other in terms of designs and elements. We really receive, since start of the early beta program, from our customers is raving comments on how these phones look overall. So I think it's quite embarrassing, quite impressive. We are seeing that all these phones and the functionalities is aligned with the visual appearance of these phones.
It's beautiful.
So another thing, models in the line is E350, E450, sorry, and E400 series. So these phones are quite impressive in terms of the functionality it delivers with the value. So as you can see here, there's a secondary display is located on the next to the keypad area. So basically, if you're a power user and requires more lines that it is available, from the line key sections, you need to add expansion modules, which is, you can see from here, right? This is expansion module attached to, E400 series. And this is, what the traditionally speaking customers to go forward when they need, some maybe the floor assistant, some, team staff members or something, somebody requires more lines than, in the phone, is need to attach the expansion module. But expansion modules is, generally speaking, is costly, almost the same cost of the phone. So you are adding, maybe additional extra phone. This is, how it looks for all the vendors in the market. E400 series is give flexibility, is an embedded expansion module. They also a sidecar on the phone itself. So you can see that it is not coming with the 22 keys like the big one, but it is giving the 6 line keys and the 2 pages here. So the users can, add the more line keys, more contacts, more BLF onto that side of the phone, so they can manage these contacts directly using the same, small estate space in their desk. So this is really one of the best interested phone in the family from our partners. They are showing great interest and everything, because I think, personally speaking, this is the highest value phone in the family as well. So every one of them is really valuable for me, but this is really creating a kind of, I think, the best value we can call it from that phone.
Yeah, you have to tell the team what a nice job they did and how impressive these devices are. I really, really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
So we'll go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, it is the E500 series. This is the the high-end phone in the family. As you can see, this is larger display is coming up, and you can connect up to two expansion module. EEM, expansion module again is connected to E400 series, and it is supports on the E500 series as well. So you can connect up to two expansion module to E500 series. Again, these are all the flexibility, not details that you need to keep in mind, but AG series, the overall perspective is enabling all these experiences for the end users.
So a couple of questions for you. Are these phones, did we put the Microban coating on these devices?
Yeah, all AG series is coming with the microban protection, is coming with onto microban protection. It is embedded in the plastics, and it is same with the current VVX series is coming with the microban.
And that's amazing. If our viewers haven't looked at some of the details about what Microban does, the number of particles of bacteria and viruses that settle on the phone are much more reduced, easier to clean, much less going on, or they're much safer devices. So that's another great feature that we have for moving into the future, for keeping these phones as safe as possible.
Yeah, and another thing I want to add about microban, this is not coating, right? So it's not something that you can wipe away from the phone surface if you clean it. So it is embedded into plastic. I think this is really a great way because it stays there for I think the lifetime of the product as much as possible. So this is really one of the key things about the microban protection we have in the AG series and the old polyphones.
Right. And that last question, which I asked you before, and I'm going to ask you again, these are all available now to order?
Yeah, these are available to order and the shipment as well. So we are already shipping these phones to the our partners and distribution partners as well.
Okay, so I got to get you guys to send me one to replace my old Polycom phone up over here. My old CCX. I want to
Oh, definitely.
get the newer phone as soon as we've gotten certified by the platform that we use. I will definitely want to try it and see how it works and see what the story is.
Sure.
Is there
There's
anything
one.
else you want to demonstrate for us,
Yeah, I
or
want
should we go
to.
back to chatting?
I want to demonstrate one last thing. I think this is a really key part. And, personally, I really, as a human being, is value this one. As Poly, we are looking always how we can improve the accessibility features we are delivering on every single product. And in EG series, we also try to do the same and increase the accessibility features coming with the best phone experience. So what we did here is, you have a few options in terms of accessibility. One of them is you can increase the text titles, text style to large and the bold. You can have a different style of text, which is helping you see the text in this small displays, and even large displays is better. You can switch to high contrast mode. I think it's really powerful thing you can see on the majority of the smartphones and the mobile phones, which is something that we support in the AG series now. You can switch to high contrast mode. And another thing is really powerful is the text-to-speech feature. So we have the text-to-speech enabled on AG series. Again, it is just a start for now. So it is not very advanced text-to-speech functionality. But what we did here, you can see that you can enable these features by pushing
text-to-speech activated.
As pushing the the home buttons there, the center button. Now it is text-to-speech activated. So whenever I click a button,
New call.
it will announce
Directories. Recent calls.
and the functionality. So even the hold, transfer,
Total.
all these buttons, headsets,
Headset.
is announced by the text-to-speech engine we have on the phone. And the purpose of that one is enabling users, visually impaired users to use these phones as they should. Again, this is really start point, and I really, as a product manager of these phones, is looking to improve that accessibility features and the more functionalities at the, getting the more diversified accessibility features and the experiences to the AG series. This is one of the key things we are looking forward. I really want to show it, not because, this is really, advanced level of accessibility, which is quite advanced compared to other vendors, but I really value the accessibility point of view we have as a company, and I'm proud of the being part of the Poly just because of that visions and the look.
Yep, that's definitely something we take very seriously going forward. So thank you very much. That's a great demonstration. I appreciate all of it. Let's get you back to the other camera. Let's chat before we close this. So I have to make fun of you and insult you about how you've got all of those things on pure untreated wood shelves in the back of your shop. But then if I turned the camera this way, you would see all the garbage that I have in my shop back here. So it's what engineers do. It's form follows function is the old expression. But the phones themselves, I mean, those are really nice jobs. The fact that they're available, the fact They're going to be growing for the future. That we've taken a lot of things into consideration, such as the accessibility and the Microban coating, and the ability to use it wirelessly and use it with Bluetooth and use it with mobile technology. It really is a great step forward. We haven't discontinued any of our existing phones. They're still there, but this new series is available and we're shipping it and it's ready. And it's nice. And I assume you're going to tell me that if people want to find out more about them, they can go to poly.com, or they can go to their Poly reseller or their channel partners and they can talk about these, because we're getting them out the door and people are starting to use them, right?
Definitely, poly.com is the best starter, for getting more about the, AG series. You can learn more there. And also your partners and, poly sellers are quite get up to date with all the information we have, and they are really willing to help and support and get the AG series in front of you as soon as possible. So please reach out to them, and I really want you to experience and share your feedbacks to me. They can be on the LinkedIn and Twitter, searching my name if they can spell correct. But I don't think there will be so much Osman in Poly. So they can also free to reach me. I really looking forward to hear more experiences and the more feedbacks on how they use their phones. How we can enable better experiences and get the better out of this end user space that use needs and use best phones. So I am always open ears.
Yeah, and if anybody has a hard time spelling or butchering your name like I did, you can always reach out to me, and I'll forward the messages to you. Because we do want to hear from our customers. We think that we've made a lot of really good innovations with these products, and anything else, because they're software agile, we expect to keep updating them and keep making them better along all of our products. So that's information we would love to hear. Please do reach out to us. So Osman, thank you very much for being with me today and giving us the show and tell on these brand new gorgeous phones.
Thank you, David. It was my pleasure.
Okay, so for our next week Poly Weekly News, we're going to be having the team from Poly Lens on again with another surprise announcement. We've got some interesting things cooking up in Poly Lens and in what we're doing in terms of APIs and development, and hopefully you'll join us for that show next week, and we'll fill you in on that. But until then, for all of my colleagues here at Poly, I'm David Danto. Thanks very much for watching the show. We'll see you next week.